I don't want to get bulky. I just want to lean down, right? How many times do you hear that? I don't
Well, don't. I think that's a built-in excuse when people say that. They're either. So? I think anytime, and once again, it's usually women, but a lot of time it's men. You don't want to get bulky. It's like, slow down, chief. You're not going to get bulky. Because first of all, that takes years and years and years of hard work, forcing your body to try to get bulky, plus a caloric surplus. So just lifting weights or just eating adequate amount of protein is not going to make anybody big and bulky. Poor John over here has been trying to get big and bulky for fucking 15 years. And it's a fucking slow, arduous process. Yeah. The Bridge Podcast.
The Bridge.
We are back again, baby. Sean Nixon here.
John Matthew.
How you feeling?
Solid. Real solid.
Protein day.
HGH, muscle milk.
Protein bars.
Protein.
It's important. It's more important than you fucking think.
Yeah.
It's essential. So literally.
So everybody knows about protein. They think they do, rather, at least. It's just one of those things, especially when people in the fitness realm, where it's like it's the ultimate source of
magical gains.
Yeah, it's like a wizard staff of just pure amazingness.
Which that brings us right to the average person undereats and underutilizes protein, and the average
you say the average person who doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Their life.
So the average fitness person thinks protein's magical and the more the better, and that's the only way to grow type of thing.
Yep.
And the average regular person that doesn't work out pretty much undereats protein because they're just not aware of it.
Yeah.
So we want to bring you to a nice balanced level.
Yeah, like you just said, awareness is the big thing. So, if you followed us in the last episode talking about, food diaries or just keeping track of your macros, that's how you kind of understand how much protein you're eating. Because if you don't know how much you're eating, you don't know how much you're eating.
Now you know.
Yeah. So let's talk about like some of the main, I guess, what people know what protein is, but there's a lot of things that protein does. The big thing, right, is that people are here for with protein is to build muscle, right, or if that helps me lose body fat, right? So, so that part, actually, let's touch on that because that's the thing that I don't think people understand as much. They understand the need for muscle building, but not so much the need for fat loss.
Well, they're almost one and the same because the more muscle you have, the more fat you can burn.
Exactly, but a lot of people are averse to, I don't want to get bulky. I just want to lean down, right? How many times do you hear that?
Well, don't. I think that's a built-in excuse when people say that. They're either. So? I think anytime, and once again, it's usually women, but a lot of time it's men. You don't want to get bulky. It's like, slow down, chief. You're not going to get bulky. Because first of all, that takes years and years and years of hard work, forcing your body to try to get bulky, plus a caloric surplus. So just lifting weights or just eating adequate amount of protein is not going to make anybody big and bulky. Poor John over here has been trying to get big and bulky for fucking 15 years. And it's a fucking slow, arduous process. Yeah. So protein as a macronutrient is not going to make you big and bulky. A caloric surplus or a caloric deficit is going to make you larger or smaller over a period of time.
And so for fat loss, so you just touched on it, but I guess say it again for the people in the back. Protein for fat loss, how does that benefit the body, right? So when people think of burning calories, a lot of people think of burning calories, well, how many steps did I burn?
Right.
How much did my workout, my Apple Watch, and my workout burned? Like my Apple Watch told me I burned 630 calories during a yoga workout for an hour. I'm like, I don't know if that's true.
No, it's definitely not true. But let's say you were going bananas on a workout and you burned 200 or 300 calories, right? That is minuscule compared to your basal metabolic rate or your total daily energy expenditure.
Like for me, is like 16 to 1800 calories just burned.
Just laying in bed, just to live, right, exactly. So then you add your walking around, your movement, and your workout, and now you're somewhere around, whatever for you, 2,800, 2,600 as like a maintenance level, right, that you would have to fluctuate around to either go more than that to gain weight, less than that to lose weight. So real quick, why this has nothing to do with protein, kind of. The average chess player burns 6,000 calories just by using the brain so much. Because the brain is the most inefficient organ in the body and uses the most energy.
Really?
So running to
Queen's
lose
Gambit?
fat. Have you seen that shit?
I have not seen it, but
It's not bad.
I hear everybody tells me it's like
Overrated.
It's not amazing, but it's not better than you think. So that's why I keep getting. They're like, it's not a must-watch, but it's pretty. It's good. It's a good
It's
show.
great concept. It's an okay show, but like it's the same as every other show where everybody's like, "Oh my god," because they're just watching whatever's new.
Yeah.
Don't go out of your way.
I know.
Cool concept though. She's like a prodigy and shit, young girl, orphan.
Yeah.
Blows people's minds in chess. But point being is, if you work out as hard as you possibly can, and it only burns fucking 300 calories, but using your brain can burn 6,000 calories. The most important thing is to track your food. And what you were getting to before I fucking Netflix fucking rabbit holed you was you want adequate protein while you're working out in a caloric deficit to lose weight so that you lose fat and preserve muscle. Sometimes even build muscle while losing fat.
Yeah, because when I used to work for a company that did nutrition consults and DEXA scans, we would measure body composition. So I've seen like by thousands of people's body composition change over the course of 2 years, that were recurring clients. And so many times people lose body fat and they lose muscle mass and they come in, like my percentage hasn't changed. I'm like, well, let's talk about what you've been doing or not doing. And 100% of the time, they're not working out and they're also not getting enough protein. They're just cutting calories, they're cutting everything out.
I'm just going to go jogging and eat lettuce. Next
Bas-
thing you
that's
know,
it, like,
you're fucking
just vegetables.
skinny because you lost bone density
They feel good because
and
they
muscle.
definitely lost weight, but they're like, oh wait, my percentage sometimes even goes up.
So that's why body fat percentage is key. Because check this out. If you lost 5 pounds of muscle and 5 pounds of fat, your body fat percentage didn't move at all, but you're down 10 on the scale.
And if
right?
you lost 5
so now you're
pounds
skinny.
and more of that's muscle, body fat percent goes up. So
Or
you
if you
weight,
lost 5 pounds of fat and gained 5 pounds of muscle, the scale went nowhere, but your body fat percentage went through the roof and you look like a completely different human being.
Yep.
So that's why preserving muscle is just as important as building muscle when you're trying to lose fat around that.
And then protein helps preserve that muscle.
Yeah, I mean, protein's the one thing that does, because I was going to say protein and carbs, but if you're in ketosis, you don't even need carbs. So protein is the key.
Yeah. Because what will happen if you're in a very starved state, you'll go through a process where your body will actually pull. Your body does not want to use protein as an energy source. But we talked about carbs and fats are the primary energy source.
Right.
But
that's why I wanted to say carbs. You don't get into gluconeogenesis.
Exactly, right. But if those aren't available, it will pull from muscle tissue because it has to survive.
So, right, I was going to say, so if you don't have amino acids floating through the bloodstream because you're eating enough protein, it will pull from your muscle. Because fat is just stored body tissue that the body kind of likes because it's just a fucking, like a second garage sitting there,
it's
right?
like your
but
rainy
muscle,
day fund, right?
Rainy day fund, but muscle is actual living tissue that costs the body calories just to fucking preserve.
And so that's what you just said there. The reason why building muscle or protein for losing fat is the more muscle you have, the more calories you're going to burn at rest.
At a standstill, at a rest.
So someone who's 150 pounds and is mostly body fat, and someone who's 150 pounds and mostly muscle, they can weigh the same, but that person's burning way more calories just because it takes a lot of energy to hold in a muscle. Your body does not want to have muscle for the most part.
No,
genetically,
it wants to survive.
It's very inefficient, but we like it.
Yeah,
and you like it. And it's useful to have for sure because we definitely don't live in a kind of culture that where we're very active every day. So we kind of have to force ourselves to be active, which is kind of funny.
You're not going to get big and bulky. A little bit of muscle is good for you. Protein will save your life. Protein is a macronutrient, not protein powder. Eating enough protein. So what is enough protein? Yeah. I was saying that the average person undereats protein while the average fitness enthusiast kind of overeats protein, potentially because they think more is better. You probably only need somewhere around 30 grams to survive, but you're certainly not going to recover from exercise or definitely not grow muscle at that point.
Yeah.
I always recommend 1 gram per pound of body weight per day as a starting point for protein. More is not necessarily better. But that's a starting point for muscle growth or losing fat.
Yeah, at that point, that's like it's an N equals 1. You just excuse yourself as an experiment. If you find
that's
your
just a
body
great place
doesn't
to start.
process it well, or if it's not doing it, you don't notice anything different from when you're eating less protein, then drop it down. Or if you feel like you need to get more benefit from going up, then if you're like that kind of person who has those genetics, then
which is me.
Yeah, which takes advantage of high protein, then that's what you'll do.
Because here's the thing. Also, if you're trying to lose fat, protein is the most satiating macronutrient per gram. Some would say fat is the most satiating, but it's more than double the calories per gram. So protein is the most satiating macronutrient, means it's going to fill you up the most. And it has the highest thermic effect of food. So that protein that you eat has to be broken down into amino acids in the body, and that metabolic process costs you quite a bit. So if you eat 100 grams of carbs, it's going to cost you 400 calories. If you eat 100 grams of protein, it's only going to cost you like 300 calories because the body has to burn some to break it down and utilize it.
Yeah. Yeah, so you ever eat like a whole bowl of French fries, but then like eat a chicken breast and you're like, oh shit.
You damn right. Right, exactly.
I'm full.
Yes.
That was quick.
Protein fills you up. Carbs make you more hungry.
Yeah.
That's just insulin response and your brain fucking with you.
And yeah, speaking of insulin response, in terms of preventing body fat gain, which everybody's trying to do, or insulin. I guess we'll talk about this a little bit when we get into the carbs a little bit more. But protein does not create the same kind of insulin response that a carbohydrate does, right?
Yep.
So you're also not getting that big hormone rise, peak and crash, which leads to insulin sensitivity issues for people with diabetes or pre-diabetics, and which again will not assist you in your weight loss goals. So.
Yep. Protein is key, because I've seen a lot of people that are just starting out on a fat loss journey, and I have them track what they eat for a week or two, and before weighing and measuring and changing any foods, I'm just like, drink more water and eat more protein. And
yeah, if you do just that, I mean, as a starting spot, right? That's not the end goal, right? But it's a starting spot.
Starting point.
For a lot of people, that will give you plenty of results just there.
For just what you said, that hormonal shift of even if the total calories are similar, they're going to be less because you're going to get satiated and full more by increasing protein. Like the magic, if you don't want to fucking count anything and you just want to lose a little bit of weight and not get shredded, is more vegetables, more protein, more water.
Yep.
Along with an exercise program.
Yes, yeah, that's very important.
To really hone in, obviously you do have to weigh and measure and track, at least for temporarily, like we talked about. But
and understand carbs and fats a little bit better, right?
Which we'll get there. Yeah, we'll get there.
Protein is that's, like you said, a really easy spot to start.
Yeah,
just
to fill you up more and to get a little bit less insulin response and get you moving.
Sweet. And then protein, so the different types, I guess, different types of protein. There's
sources.
Yeah. So so we'll talk about the basic ones for someone who doesn't eat meat. And I guess we'll talk. So
I would say the best eggs, if you're not allergic to eggs, right? Red meat, if it's fucking wild game, grass fed, whatever. Dairy, if you fucking digest dairy, because if not, that's a no-no. Same thing with meat, same thing with red meat. If you don't eat meat, then we got to look to other sources. Yeah. So as far as non-meat-based, plant-based protein sources, hemp protein and pea protein are very good. Soy and peanuts, not very good.
Yeah, I mean, soy is controversial. There's like studies saying that it's not good for you, studies saying there is good for you. Especially for men too. So I have had soy. I do actually enjoy tofu. Like I've written a really great article about this old Asian guy who actually makes tofu classically, and he's
classically that's probably
kind of
great.
upset because like the whole vegan vegetarian industry has just made it this one thing, and he's like, no, tofu is actually like its own meal that tastes good. It's not just a meat
and
place.
That I'm all for.
Yeah.
I'm not for fucking adding wheat to it and GMO fucking soy bullshit.
Like making like a tofurkey, like a tofu.
Right, that's crazy.
That's you being unable to just get over the idea of eating a turkey.
Yep.
But
or burger.
So
or
yeah,
whatever the fuck.
soy's not all bad, but a lot of it is grown badly, right? So
yes,
that impacts the quality of the soy.
That's what I was trying to say.
But if you've ever had
then processed all fucked up. So
you've ever had
trans
really
fats and oils. And
if you have like once a week, that's fine. But I think even with that,
that's something in moderation.
Even with that, just nutrient composition wise, I think there are better sources. A really good source of soy, I would say, is tempeh, which isn't actually a processed soy, and it doesn't actually have the same amount of those phytoestrogens.
Yes.
It tastes pretty good too.
Yes.
So that's just fermented too as well, so it's an added benefit there. Seitan is a wheat-based protein. If you can't digest wheat, that's a no-no. But that's very dense in protein, low calorie, low fat. Then you got, like you said, hemp. Hemp seeds, if you want to get the actual hemp protein powders, are obviously there too. Peas and lentils are obviously great too as well. But yeah, so there are options there for vegans and vegetarians. So to say that you can't get enough protein in there, and then if you're not,
it's a little more work, and you have to plan it out and be cognizant of it.
Definitely.
But it's the same with anything.
Yeah, and so say for someone who doesn't know, I guess like an average 4 ounces, the normal serving size for a piece of meat.
For a baby.
For a man, it's more like 12 ounces.
I mean, that's what I do, 12, but I thought like 6 to 8 was a serving, but okay, we'll go with 4.
Well, I guess when you buy it on a...
Oh, right, the label.
The label, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
label is usually 4 ounces because they use it per pound,
Yep,
so it breaks it down easily.
Totally makes sense.
So a 4 ounce portion is usually it varies depending on the cut and the type of meat. It's going to be about 16 to 25 grams of protein.
Yeah, I was going to say 20, but you met me with a range in the middle.
Yeah. And so, that's much, if you're eating meat, that's actually a pretty solid chunk, because say if you're 150 pounds, you really don't have to eat that much as you think. Well, you probably have to eat more than you think, but like 20...
More is not better.
Yeah, and 20 is a big chunk out of 150, whereas if I'm eating, like a serving of hemp seeds, that's about 10 grams of protein. So I got a little bit more work to do if I'm a vegetarian and vegan trying to maintain protein sources.
And there's where you would pair different proteins together. And
exactly, right? So yeah, and then in terms of that, like, that's a good segue to talk about complete versus incomplete proteins. Just touch on that briefly, what that means, because a lot of people aren't aware of.
Yeah, some people are like, oh, peanut butter has protein in it.
Like everything,
it's like,
everything that's protein is made equally, right? From all
no,
sources,
yeah, because now we're talking about there's essential amino acids, non-essential amino acids, and then branched chain amino acids within the essential amino acids. So that's why we named like the meat and dairy and eggs and hemp sources, because they have all those essential amino acids and making it a fully complete.
So yeah, non-essential amino acids are the stuff that your body produces, so you don't need them. That's why they're non-essential. Essential means you can only get them from your diet. So you're saying hemp, meat, they have all of
so there's
the
essential fatty acids, there's essential amino acids, there's no essential carbohydrates. So carbohydrate is a tool you can use depending on your genetics and your goals. Proteins and healthy fats are a must. And once again,
for your body to function. We're not talking about just aesthetic goals. It's talking about like human function, organ function.
And also, I don't know who the fuck troll started this rumor that you can only digest 30 grams of protein per meal. Like, we don't have small intestines that slowly digest and assimilate nutrients into the bloodstream.
Yeah, I mean, people have all.
If you eat one meal a day and you eat 150 grams of protein, are you going to die and just poop out the other 120 grams? Yeah, no, you have an intestine that digests food and secretes it into the bloodstream to be nutrients
over a long period of time. It's not just like an instantaneous thing.
Yeah, so
and depending on the type, like if you're
eat as much protein as you fucking want.
Yeah, it's just gonna be.
Just don't undereat it,
and
don't think you're gonna get bigger if you eat more.
Yeah, and also, I mean, it's just kind of impractical to eat 150 at one sitting. I mean, you definitely could, but why would you?
Don't you dare me.
Yeah, I mean, I probably have.
No, I'm saying like if you're doing plus, 1 or 2 meals a day and you got to pack in some big
that's
stuff,
part
I've
of your
done
diet. But don't feel like you need to, or you have to eat less.
You don't have to do nothing.
Because there's, again, when we're talking about fat loss, muscle building, there's bigger things to keep track
That's
of.
That's the thing. You don't want to fucking.
That's not your priority right there. So
step over $100 bills to pick up nickels here. You don't want to fucking fuck around.
And let's touch on protein powders, because you mentioned this very briefly at the beginning.
Yeah, people always, like, when you say the word protein, I think they think protein powder supplement. But that's not always what we're talking about. We're talking about the macronutrient protein that's found in meat and eggs and the other sources that we talked about. Protein powder supplementation is exactly what that is. To supplement if you can't get enough, if you can't meet your protein goals, right? I personally have tried every protein powder under the sun, and I personally have not had any in years because I like eating meat, eggs, and yogurt. I actually do pull some in when I don't eat meat, when I'm on like a vegetarian run. That's when I would utilize a supplement to hit my protein goals. Once again, the best source there would probably be whey protein or other types of dairy protein powders, unless you can't digest lactose or dairy products. And then I would go once again to hemp powder, followed by pea protein and other things.
Yeah, but like you said earlier, it's people have the conception of it because it's in a bottle separate. That's protein powder is a different thing than just meat protein.
Nah, it's just a food.
Yeah.
That has the essential amino acids in it, and then you would either drink it or consume it if you like the taste, or if it's convenient to travel with and digest easily, or if you have trouble using whole foods to hit your protein requirements.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that tub, you could just fill it up with just eggs and it'd be the same.
Yep.
You know, egg whites should be the same thing. Pure protein.
Oh, that's another. They have egg white powder supplement.
They do actually. Yeah.
So I would rather
a
eat
lot of those.
eggs, but
I've seen a lot of those. I forget who it was. It might have been Kai Green making his breakfast. I saw a thing.
Yeah.
He has a gigantic skillet about this big and just like
64 egg whites and one
literally
yolk.
just dump. Yeah, that's literally it. And just this gigantic like.
It's beautiful.
Crepe of like egg whites.
Bodybuilding life.
But yeah, that guy's eating
Hilarious.
calories.
But he's awesome as far as, dude, that's the thing with bodybuilders. Don't let me get too fucking far in the weeds here.
Really
you know about like Dorian Yates and Kai Green and stuff? And I could go on and on. Guys that realized they built their body so much that all the real answers are in the mind.
Yep.
Because they knew they could control their mind as far as discipline, work ethic, and pushing themselves in the gym, and then the discipline to stay on the diet. But then they get into yoga and psychedelics and meditation and spirituality from bodybuilding, which most stereotypical people would say, oh, they're just dumb meatheads or whatever. These are artists, yogis, philosophers.
Kai Green, Dorian Yates
Dude, you ever seen Kai Green's art?
Yeah.
And fucking Dorian Yates like speaking on psychedelic type of stuff and spirituality? Big deal. So
that's another thing too, that building muscle makes you stiff. I mean, you ever seen Kai Green do a split?
Oh yeah.
Easily, just falls in. It's just it's about just taking care of.
I'm gonna be all big and bulky.
I can't move.
With that lazy ass mindset, you probably will.
Yeah, if you're not doing the appropriate things to stay flexible, then of course.
Yep.
Which most people aren't doing, regardless of whether you're building muscle or not.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother episode. But then let's talk about, speaking on, while we're on the supplement kind of topic here. So we got protein powders, which is like your whey protein, the muscle milk, right? Which everyone thinks is like magical milk. I sure did. I was one of those kids, 90 pounds, where I told you I was getting 200 grams. I was 98 pounds. I was getting 200 grams of protein just from protein powders.
Wow.
That's everything I was eating. And I was like, this is awful, but I gotta do it for the gains.
Gotta do it. It's the only way to get big.
Only way to get big, magic powder.
The powder is not magic. It supplements your diet for convenience, or if you cannot eat enough whole foods to get your protein goals.
And then transition here to another popular supplement, which I know I have a lot of friends who are obsessed with them for the sake of it. They don't even really know why, but BCAAs and EAAs.
So I see the pros and cons to them. So first and foremost, if you're getting your 1 gram per pound of body weight per day of protein, or whatever your goal is, branched chain amino acids ain't doing shit as far as growth, because you're already getting enough.
But let's just define branched chain amino acids for those who don't know it. So
leucine, isoleucine, and valine.
Yeah, so those are 3 of
the essential amino acids. Those are super important in muscle building, but they're not going to cause any extra muscle building.
Especially if you've beaten your protein requirements.
Yeah, exactly. However, I do see the benefits of it. I can see the benefits of you helping stay hydrated because it flavors your water. I could see intra-workout benefits of extending sets and workout time because you have amino acids and some sugary type of flavored drink floating around in your system.
My sister loves them.
Just for the taste.
Yeah, and so she replaces it with other stuff that she might have.
There you go. Instead of soda or something.
Yeah.
Right, so that's a huge benefit right there. And then cognitive function, because like you said, if you run out of carbohydrates, the body's going to look for amino acid sources, and you get a little brain fog if you're hungry. But even if you're not physiologically hungry, like a leptin-ghrelin response, you can utilize branched chain amino acids for cognitive function. So I sip on them during workout, intra-workout, but not thinking I'm getting magically big, just the flavor. Because there's cool studies done where people are, I believe it was like sprinting, but it can be done with lifting weights. So they're sprinting as fast as they can, and they give somebody water, Gatorade, and like a BCA drink with like artificial sweetener. So it didn't even have any carbs in it. Yeah. And then obviously the water had better performance than the no water. The Gatorade had a better performance than the just water. The BCAAs had equivalent to Gatorade, right? But then they did the same study where they just rinsed their mouth out and spit.
Yeah.
So the water had no change.
Yeah.
But the Gatorade and the BCAAs, your body thought you were getting some sugary shit just by it touching your tongue and your taste buds and your
triggered the response.
So even though they spit it out, they were able to go further.
Ah, interesting.
So it kind of mentally and physically pushes my workout and keeps my brain sharp. I don't think I'm getting bigger because of the branched chain amino acids.
Which I know a lot of people who think they are getting bigger because of branched chain amino acids.
The studies that showed you could get bigger, it didn't show what they were eating, and they were taking 15 to 25 grams which is a lot more than
lot,
like
yeah.
if you're taking 1 to 2 scoops, you're barely.
Yeah, I
getting
think
10
the study I
grams.
saw was Polquin.
Yep.
Charles Polquin did it, and
Yep.
and he had guys benefiting from it, but they were taking
like 30 grams,
30 grams
in pill
form.
Yes.
Just
So they're
during workout.
coughing down powdery
To give you an
pills and
idea,
burping white powder
Yeah,
and shit.
to give you an idea, like most supplements, the serving size is like 4 grams, and if you can stomach that if it's unflavored, good luck.
Yep, good luck.
But then talking about, I asked you this, before, if someone is trying to burn body fat, there's a controversy. There's always controversy in fitness, but maybe it's not. Of burning extra body fat during a fasted workout. Say first thing in the morning, I'm fasted, and I want to burn body fat, but I'm also worried about losing muscle. Would a BCA supplement or EAA supplement, essential amino acid supplement, help?
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
In the big picture is always going to matter more. So total calories per day, week, month, whatever. Working out fasted is not going to fucking kill your gains or kill you whatsoever. As soon as you take a protein powder or an amino acid supplement, you're no longer truly fasted. But you do have amino acids floating around in the system, which can help, like you said, pull from that the nutrients that you got exogenously versus your muscle tissue.
Yeah.
But I worked out for years fasted.
Just fasted.
In the morning on black coffee or after a 16-hour intermittent fast.
Yeah.
And always work. You're not going to die. That would be a case for eating a nice meal after.
So that's a good transition, that post-workout window, right?
So the magical window of gains they
The
used to say
anabolic
is
window.
Anabolic magical window of gains they used to say is 30 minutes after a workout. You got to eat 30 grams of protein or you're going to die, and the workout didn't even count.
Gains don't matter if that doesn't
Because this was, you know why it stopped? Because this was before Instagram. So now you can just post your workout on Instagram and it counts. Where back then there was only magazines.
Interesting, yeah.
There was only magazines, so you had to rush home and drink 30 grams of protein or your workout didn't count. Now you just have to tag your friends or whatever.
There you go, I did it.
And then it counts. So that anabolic window is true. The lie is just a 30-minute point. Meaning when you resistance train specifically, you increase insulin sensitivity, meaning your body can absorb nutrients a lot better, in the most layman terms I can put it in.
Yeah.
But that window is closer to 24 hours than it is to 30 to 60 minutes.
Yeah, that window was really just a marketing tactic.
To get you to use through
more
more protein powder. So should you eat after your workout? Fuck yeah. You should have carbs and proteins and healthy foods. Does it have to be powder 30 minutes after? Absolutely not.
Nope.
You can eat the powder anytime you want. Like I said, if you like the taste and it's convenient and it hits your goals. As a snack, it's a better snack than, like a protein shake is a better snack than a lot of fucking junk these fucks are eating.
Yeah, no, again, protein satiating, so it will also.
So it's not magical.
Sensation.
It's like we're trying to flirt with it's not underrated, it's not overrated. It's
Yeah.
important, but it's not magical.
Yeah. It's kind of like in Space Jam, it's water is really important.
Yeah, well, that's the shit, because that's the ultimate mind trick right there.
Yeah.
Bugs Bunny, as a good leader, knew that they were playing like shit, but they looked up to Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
So Bugs took a piece of tape and the Gatorade bottle and wrote Mike's Magic Stuff on it, or Mike's Magic Juice or something.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
And then he passed it around the locker
And they're
room, and they
feeling
all got
it, man.
pumped up, but it was just water. But in their head, they were drinking Mike's Magic Juice. So they fucking started playing better as a
on your
team
mind.
because they switched their mindset, guys.
Switch your mindset on protein. Protein for we talked about the 4 main goals of fitness and
different
health,
goals.
right? So
Love
we got body composition goals, right? We got health, we got performance.
Gaining muscle, losing fat.
Gaining muscle and losing fat, yeah.
So to lose fat, I love almost the more protein, the better. At least hit your minimum 1 gram per pound of body weight per day. But like I said, if you're that type of genetic type or somio type or dosa type or whatever, type of school you're going to, right?
Yeah.
You more can be better, not for magic, but for satiation,
Yes.
right? To fill yourself up more on chicken breast versus some sugar. Because like 100 grams, 100 calories worth of protein and 100 calories worth of sugar are both 100 calories. But one's going to make you hungrier and one's going to make you more full.
Yeah, so if you're trying to lose body fat, which one do you want?
So
Like, have you ever
that's
gone
common
out to
sense,
eat
guys.
and then you've eaten like when I got Outback, you got a steak, you got the mashed potatoes and the veggies, you eat the steak. I don't know if I got enough room left for that, for the rest of the other stuff, right? That's because it fills you up. But if you can crank through, I can crank
Till
through.
dessert comes, because then your taste buds switch over to sweet.
Switch over
and
to
you're
sweet,
back,
yeah.
baby.
They're like, oh, okay, yeah. Always room for dessert. is
Brain
what-
tricks.
so my
That's
grandma
all
used to
this
say.
whole game of life is.
Yeah.
Is all in the mind. So if you're
Master your
losing
mind.
fat and preserving muscle, the more protein, the better, let's say. Not that it's magical. If you're trying to gain muscle, more is not magically better for the same reason, because it might fill you up too much. So just get your 1 gram per pound of body weight approximately, then pump the carbs up, because that's going to drive growth if you're a smaller guy or girl, and muscle growth is your main goal. Health and sports performance, let's push together. I would say, all right, let's just say health, you probably want, instead of 1 gram per pound of body weight per day, maybe 0.08.
Yeah.
So more than the average person, but less than a bodybuilder. Because once again, protein is healthy and you need more than you think you need, but more is not magically better. Because same thing, if you're not trying to build muscle, you want to preserve what you have. Muscle, bone density, other cellular function and tissues and everything else.
Especially if you're getting older, not hating on old people, but it's just a scientific fact, your body will start to lose muscle tissue at a much more rapid rate than you realize.
If you only knew that at one point you were going to get older, maybe you would start eating right and exercising and taking care of yourself before it's too late. But who knows that they're going to get older?
No one ever thinks they do.
No one ever thinks into the future and overanalyzes and becomes anxious about shit that's fucking magically not going to happen in the future. But then again, that distracts you. Then it distracts you from the shit that really is going to happen in the future.
Yeah, that's so true.
Guys, don't worry about what you can't control. What you've never, ever, ever once been in the future. The only time that's ever existed is now.
Yeah, past didn't exist.
The past is a memory, and which is a concept of your mind.
Yeah.
And the future is an imagination, which is a concept of your mind.
So
the only thing that's real is right the fuck now.
Stay present.
Stay present. Don't worry about what you can't control. Worry about what you can control. And what you can always control is your thoughts and your actions.
Yeah.
Straight up.
And how much protein you eat.
And your fucking protein gains. All right? So for health, you still want plenty, but we've given you some numbers. And then for sports performance or performance in general, let's just go with the 1 gram per pound of body weight because it's very easy to calculate. And it makes sure, even if you don't want the scale to go up or down, that you're recovering from your workouts if you're an athlete or what have you.
All right.
What else we got? Oh, let's do, what?
What were you going to say?
Let's do top five favorite protein sources just by, you know, how I would rate mine would not only be, I'll throw price out the window. Yeah. I would go by like taste and satiation and micronutrient density, you know what I mean? Yeah, so like what you like to eat. Like don't go like best ones you think, go with your personal favorite.
Okay.
So we're going to go 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 or your top 5 and my top 5?
I'll go my top 5 and your top 5.
Go ahead.
All right. So right now I'm on...
no particular order?
Yeah, no particular order. Right now I'm been vegetarian, mostly like vegan 5 days a week, vegetarian 2 days a week. So
nice.
Not eating meat essentially, or dairy or anything really. I am a big fan of seitan, so I do use that.
Okay.
I can digest wheat fairly well. I just like it's the closest I've seen to like a pure protein source for a vegetarian because soy has has carbs and fats. Everything else.
That and hemp is probably like straight up. Everything else has to be combined.
Yeah, well, even
rice and beans,
even
and
hemp
lentils
seeds has lots of fat, so it's
but pure as far as the other macronutrients.
Yeah, so
totally.
Totally. With chicken breast, you're getting just protein, right? It's very hard to find that purely. So I do like that. I do like hemp seeds. I throw those in hemp protein and hemp sources.
That's 2. Okay. So we got hemp and
then I'm also when I was eating meat, I'm a big fan of just salmon and other fatty fish.
Oh, sweet. That's a good one.
Just healthy fats.
Might get some overlap on that one.
Yeah. What else am I gonna?
You a powders guy?
Oh yeah, I guess I'll say I do like a pea protein powder that I use.
Sweet.
Which is plant fusion protein.
Oh, nice.
So I know the guy who designed the protein.
Really?
I met him in California.
I was gonna say it's a good brand.
Company. It's a good brand, and I know. Well, I talked to him. I know the sources he's getting it from.
Cool.
So it's very hard to like know where you're getting your stuff from. And then lastly, I'd probably say. Well, you go, and I'll take my last one.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Top 4, and then we'll come back for 5. So I'm going eggs right off the bat because cheap, complete protein.
That's my 5th, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to beat eggs.
It's hard to beat eggs. Cheap, complete protein source. All the essential amino acids, the perfect ratio of branched chain amino acids, ridiculous amount of healthy fats. Every single vitamin under the sun besides vitamin C, which is fine.
Yeah. Great micronutrient composition.
Ridiculous micronutrients. Satiating, delicious, versatile. I can name 12 different ways to fucking cook it. You know what I mean? Not expensive. And if you're not allergic to them, no reason to not eat them, even if you're not eating meat. You know what I'm saying? From like a karmic standpoint, as long as you're not supporting factory farming by buying eggs from chickens stuffed in cages, if there's a free-range chicken and a rooster doesn't fuck her, she's going to pop out eggs.
No matter what.
So you're going to let the rats and the bugs and the foxes eat them? There's plenty of eggs where you're not hurting the chicken to eat yourself.
Yeah. So just go local. There's plenty of farmers where we live right here. You can get great cage-free stuff.
Free-range eggs. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two is, let's just put the blanket of red meat or grass-fed red meat. So whether that's wild game, bison, or beef. Because if to be more specific, I would say steak, but let's just say grass-fed red meat.
Yeah.
3 would be some type of seafood, but not salmon to not overlap. So let's say shrimp, because also versatile, zero fat, zero carbs.
Shrimp's one of my favorites, and scallops are not one of my favorites.
Yeah, shrimp and scallops, zero fat, zero carb, and more flavor than chicken breast that has zero fat, zero carb. Right? So what am I on? 3?
Yep.
We'll go hemp as well, even though I don't eat it that often.
Yeah.
What the fuck else do I eat? A lot of fish. I'm so basic. I didn't want to say chicken,
but
but I guess I have to say chicken because my entire day is eggs, chicken, and beef. And if I'm not eating, no. My fifth one, fuck the hemp. We're going with yogurt.
Yogurt, yeah.
So specifically Greek yogurt, but I don't even want to be specific. I want to say yogurt.
Yogurt.
Grass-fed, homemade, organic, blah, 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 but yogurt. So I'm going yogurt, eggs, red meat. What are we saying? Crustaceans, shrimp, scallops, whatever the fuck. Yeah. And how do I get out of not saying chicken? I got to say chicken.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say chicken breast because chicken thighs are cheaper and taste better, but not in my opinion. And I, once again, want that no carb, no fat.
Yeah, and I mean, everyone's like, chicken breast is so plain. Well, there's plenty of ways to cook something. Just
spice,
get some recipes, man. That's all spices are probably good, are also good for you too.
So good.
Herbs, spices, get in there.
Top 5.
All right.
I love it. Eat your fucking protein, drink your fucking water, brush your goddamn teeth, hit the like button. You already did that. You already sent it to everybody. And we're going to see you on the next episode talking about, you want to talk about crabs or fats?
Crabs. Talking about
carbs, Monday.
All right.
Peace. I'm on a no crab diet.